Hey everyone, before I get started, I just want to remind you that if you like my content, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and then join the Militiaman and Crew Patreon community by clicking the link in the caption. Hey, good evening everybody. It's Monday. It's another one of those hot summer days. I hope everybody's enjoying them. I think I can say that summer is one of my favorite times of the year. Even though it gets really hot and kind of humid sometimes, we can get through that. But anyway, hey, there's some interesting information out today that is talking about, and yesterday, about the 2024 budget that's not supposedly going to reach the citizens because of some deputies that are accused. Brought up a little bit of information from a few little people in different arenas that suggest that the 2024 tripartite budget is illegally done and has problems. The only reason why I'm bringing it up is because everybody seems to think that an opinion piece or an information report is the tell-all. And to me, if it's not coming from al-Sudani's office, from his advisors, those that are known for being professionals, you got to be careful on what you read. Al-Nasiri is one of them. Mohammed Saleh is another one. You have Taif Sami, she's a legal department from the finance department. She's one to listen to. Al-Sudani, of course, is someone who listen to, but just an opinion piece that goes on and talks about effectively fraudulent behavior in the House of Representatives or the Council of Representatives, etc. You got to be careful on what you read, and there's things that are going on that are far beyond this so-called budget schedules adjustment, in my opinion. So until al-Sudani, until the court comes out and says anything about it, I'm going to just say, well, we're going to have to wait and see how this goes. But basically what it was about that they confirmed that there was investigations ongoing, and those that were manipulated will be held accountable. So the deputies that changed the schedules didn't do it in their own right. It's not their right. They're supposed to give effectively a yes or no vote on whether they approve it or not change the numbers, which they did. It says some numbers were changed before they were sent to the Council of Ministers. The changes occurred within the House of Representatives and before they reached the government. Look, there's a lot of people out there that just don't want this to happen. And here you can see that there's some people that are probably going to get reprimanded. Once again, this isn't the first time. I'm pretty sure they did it under al-Abadi. I'm pretty sure that they did it under Khatimi. And I think they're doing it again here. But I think that al-Sudani and his teams, the United States Treasury, U.S. Federal Reserve, the foreign ministers, everybody would be highly aware of any shady issues going on at this stage of the game. The newer technology, electronic transformation that they're going through, the digital transformation Iraq's going through is really not going to allow for knuckleheads to do things the way that they think they can do it. It says the Council of Ministers returned the schedules to the House of Representatives for the purpose of correcting and canceling the additions that occurred. So they took charge of it already. So it sounds like they've already got it under control. The Finance Committee is in the process of investigating who dared to manipulate this, the budget schedules, and how the acting Speaker of the House of Representatives signed the changes that occurred. That could be a stain on the House of Representatives Speaker, the guy that's there today. We'll see. It could be smoke and mirrors, because again, this is basically an information report. It isn't anything more than that. And it doesn't have any accountability whatsoever. If you want to look at it, it says delete and add its schedules. 2024 budget will not reach the citizens deputies accused. You guys can go and find your own versions of it, but trust me on this one, it's available out there. So I'm not sweating it, and sadly those folks that are, some of them are no longer with us. So anyway, economists converting stalled companies into joint stock companies revives government production. The advisor to the Prime Minister of Financial Affairs, here the gentleman is. This is one of the guys you want to listen to. Mohammed Saleh confirms today, Monday, that converting the suspended and losing public companies into joint stock companies will revive government production and achieve a qualitative leap. I like the words that they use, qualitative, meaning it's good. The government approves the principle of activating the provisions of Article 35 of the Public Companies Law number 22 of 1997 as amended by converting suspended or losing public companies into what are called public joint stock companies and allowing the private sector workers to own shares under the auspices of the public sector. Fairly sure we've had companies in the United States that do exactly the same thing, and we're very successful in doing so. So let's see how this one turns out. This is within the framework of the principle of partnership between the state and the private sector, raising the efficiency of loss-making public government companies and restructuring their activities to transform them into profitable companies with products that suit market needs and whether the producing production supplies to maximize value chains. Keywords here, value change, because you're going to see that in a little bit, because that's one of the components of SAAVI, which is from the WTO. Okay, so maximize value chains or final consumer products. And what are they looking at? They want to achieve qualitative shift in government production activity, and I think they're on that road. They're basically pushing their joint work with paths of private sector and advanced production lines to highly advanced technology that is compatible with requirements of growth and local demand and the national market in general. So they've got the modernizing, the updating all these companies, joint stock companies. It's going to benefit both the general public, so the private sector can make companies be more efficient, become more competitive in the marketplace. Just as the ISX will also gain market share from these partnerships with the private sector. So those of you that are probably thinking about, the ISX, once it goes international, is probably going to be an interesting place to be, because they're going to have the same sort of components that our stock markets have, and they're going to be at an international level, and they're going to have the similar systems that we're going to be able to tap into. So there's a couple of companies out there you might want to look into. I'm not promoting any specific company per se, but I do know that there are a couple out there, and I'll be looking into it because I have a good, strong feeling that the banking sector is going to be on fire. I think steel, cement, manufacturing, in my personal opinion anyway, are going to be big things. Iraq's consultations to reopen strategic crossing with Iran. Do you guys remember when we did a video a while back, probably a couple months ago, the World Customs Organization working in tandem with the WTO under the guise of what they call the ATF, okay? They have the facilitation ability to work with and facilitate trade agreements between countries. They did that, and they did that with Iran. And so this is interesting, that the timing of this, because you're going to see some other little bits and pieces today that are going to be talking about timing. So anyway, the Mason governor Habib Dahar al-Fartusi revealed on Monday that there are consultations with the federal government in Baghdad to reopen the Jalal border crossing with the Iranian side. Okay, so basically I'm just going to leave it at this. You can read the article. But there is no surprise here that the World Customs Organization has had meetings with Iran and Iraq on trade this year, and many things that we can see now are coming together, and we're talking about now. So keep in mind, the ICE CUDA system is up and running. They said they had 100% completion to where they felt comfortable. The electronic transformation is upon us. The Buddha platform in the past, Arab Monetary Fund, ready to go. We all know that. It's nothing new. But so what the point I'm getting at is that they have the systems ready to go, because when they interlink, they're going to have to do it all at the same time. You can't have one border one day, two borders the next day. It's going to be all at the same time, especially with this new transparent system. So that's why they've been probably doing this dollar auction stuff, and they've been focusing in on imports because it's mostly done in dollars. I believe that they're going to probably change that to some degree, but if they don't change it, it's still going to be in dollars when it comes to imports. it's going to be to have a relationship to an equivalency to the Iraqi dinar, and I think the Iraqi dinar is not going to be at 1310. It's just not going to work that way. Harmonizing Iraq's trade regime, a 20-year milestone has been achieved. This comes, as the headline says, Iraq accelerates its World Trade Organization WTO accession process by unifying tariff rates with Kurdistan region of Iraq. I don't think anybody's ever talked about this before, and I'm not sure that I did either, but it does make nothing but sense that the unified treasury account has been talked about for over a year or more, and it's already in place. And so for the trade or unifying tariff rates with Kurdistan region of Iraq means that Kurdistan region, the KGRI, I think that's KRI, there it is. Sorry, you guys. But anyway, they have that hooked up with Baghdad, and they're unified, and that's pretty big. Okay. We talked about value change a few minutes ago. But anyway, let me get to the point. It says Iraq's trade has operated under a dual customs regime with different staff rates in federal and Kurdistan region of Iraq, which is the KRI. It goes on, a key requirement for the WTO membership is the implementation of consistent policies nationwide, including aligning tariff rates, custom procedures, regulatory practices across all regions. The differences in tariff structures between federal Iraq and the KRI have been seen as a barrier to achieving necessary coherence and transparency for WTO accession. Okay, but in 2024, with support of the International Trade Center, the ITC, through the strengthening the agricultural and agri-food value chain and improving trade policy. That's what that SAAVI means, which I talked about. This project was funded by the European Union, and this harmonization was finally undertaken. So in other words, when it was finally undertaken, suggests to me it's been done. So basically, what is this about? It's more support that we've heard about Iraq having a formal and historic meeting with the WTO this week. Okay, that suggestion is likely a good reason as to why. Iraq has now undertaken the unification in alignment with the KRI. Okay, so what's not to like about it? There's nothing about it. So look, the WTO has another article out this afternoon. It comes out a couple hours later. It says negotiations for Iraq's accession to the World Trade Organization after a 16-year absence. Okay, Ministry of Trade Athir Dawood Al-Fariri, head of the Iraqi team concerned with joining the World Trade Organization, announced today, which is Monday, the start of the preliminary meetings to negotiate Iraq's accession to the World Trade Organization after a hiatus of more than 16 years. It goes on to say that the Foreign Economic Relations Department in the ministry, they were there. The news agencies were all there. It says the Iraqi negotiating teams began their preparatory meetings at the headquarters of the World Trade Organization in Geneva in preparation for the third meeting of the Working Group on Iraq's accession. The statement goes on and says the first preparatory meeting was held at the organization's headquarters with the director of the accession department and organizations, experts in goods and services, intellectual property, headed by the director general of the economic relations department, and with membership of negotiators representing the Iraqi ministries and the Kurdistan region to discuss the most important files and documents submitted by Iraq in its previous steps. So basically, that's a mouthful, but they've been doing this. It's underway. Preparatory meetings are ongoing. And so look at what it says here. The third official meeting of the working group, which will be headed by the Ministry of Trade. So the Minister of Trade, all right, where was he? Al-Alaq, Minister of Trade, Foreign Affairs, those folks were where? They were with in Washington, okay? So anyway, we'll move forward. A witness review of the files and documents completed by the National Committee concerned with accession, headed by the Ministry of Trade. So the Minister of Trade is active. So is he in Geneva today? Well, it sure sounds like it. Sure sounds like it. Because why? They're having preparatory meetings for what? Some historic meeting that they're supposed to have. A formal meeting on when? The 18th. It's on their calendar. Have they changed the name to that? I have not checked yet today. But so far, it's a working party meeting. But hold on, why would it be historic? Why would it be so formal? And then again, why would you have these two articles coming out talking about preparatory meetings, right? So you have to think like there's got to be something more to the story. You have the ICE system hooked up. You have Iran talking about trade deals again. You talk about unifying the tariff rates with the Kurdistan region. Never seen that before. You see all these little bits and pieces, right? So I'm not worried about deputies fudging numbers in the 2023, 24, 25 budget. Why? Because it's already a law and has been since June of last year. Okay? So a few deputies, I hope they get what they deserve. They're probably going to get a knock on the door. And those that are supporting those are probably going to get knocks on the doors too. So anyway, there are preparation for this week's meetings already in Geneva. Iraq has reached a higher level in the field of negotiations, and their development up to today has been good, as their efficiency in dealing with complex negotiation issues have shown what appears to be significant improvement to the level to which they are now, and for the first time. So pay attention to this article. I would highly recommend you guys reading it, and let this be more of a guide than some information reports. Got to know what you own, know what you read, and it's not easy. So it's hard. So keep up with the good work, you guys. The economy needs real reforms and right direction of resources. So Shia al-Sudani stressed on Monday the need for the economy to undergo real reforms in the correct direction of resources. It goes on to say that the Prime Minister Sudani meeting of the Ministerial Council for the economy, that's the MCOE. You guys, that's a laundry list of people that are in that. So when you see MCOE, or Ministerial Council for the Economy, pay attention, because that's planning, that's trade, that's the legal department, that's the financial department, it's al-Sudani's department, it's everybody that's agriculture, the whole 9 yards. U.S. Treasury, I think, steps in sometimes. U.S. Fed, they have implications to that. So not that they're the members, but just that they are a consultant, and they do give expertise. The IMF as well, Bank of International Settlements. So yeah, you got to really take that seriously, because these are the guys that al-Sudani brought in, I think within 30 days of him arriving in his position. Okay, so they go on to say, they stress the importance of carrying out real reforms. Al-Sudani wants the private sector and companies to have a commitment to the retirement, the Social Security law for workers, in order to expand care for them in their sector. So they're looking out for the citizens. They want to insure their people. They want to have everybody really know that they are feeling that it's important to carry out reforms for you, and directing resources in the right direction, so that they can have less dependence on oil revenues as a sole source of income. They don't want it. They just hope that it does not continue. And they want to meet the requirements of the operational investment budget. That is the 2023-2024 budget. They want to meet the requirements of that operational and investment budget. I'm fairly certain that they have the operational side. It's the investment side of the budget that I'm really concerned with, because that's where we come into the play. The council discussed the work of the Diwani Order Number Committee 24573 in 2024, which was concerning studies of the economics of oil and gas in the country, and leading to the adoption of showing the real costs along with that value chain. WTO wants to know what that value chain is, just like these guys do, according to economic foundations. And then they go on to say a committee was formed with a form that includes the ministries of oil and industry, the investment authority, the national security, for what? To follow up on the work of factories and verifying information. So look, more and more progress leading to Iraq in the investment side of their reforms, and within the tripartite budget. Interesting, they're talking value chains, I have to say that. And they talked about they talked about, as well as Iraq's acceleration to the accession with the WTO. Non-oil revenues are going to be a big savior for if and when there are oil shocks in the future. So they're looking to be insulated from those shocks and bring security, stability to Iraq's people and the country's finances. So all of these things that al-Sudani's been talking about, all the things that he's doing, all the things that I just talked about are basically where they are today anyway. And we have things to look forward to. There's things coming up in the next few days that we're going to have to watch and see how it turns out. But just know this, there is something I didn't go over because I think we've already touched on it. They pushed it out, the HOR meeting till after this next holiday, which is on the 17th. And then obviously the WTO meeting they say is on the 18th, unless of course their calendar changes. I highly suspect that won't be the case, but they set the stage for the HOR presidency to be done on the 20th. And so those are the things that we're looking at today. So, hey everybody, kind of fast and furious for a Monday, but I hope you guys understand that what we're seeing is powerful, and I'm pretty excited, and I think everybody else should be. It's really looking good. So thank you very much for being with us. Hit that like button and subscribe if you like what I bring. Militiaman and crew bring a lot of work. Samson does a heck of a job bringing in information. Again, she's bringing this stuff in like gangbusters, right? And we did a sit rep today. I was able to finally touch bases with some of the members that travel, are busy people just like everybody else in the world. We have families and relationships and businesses, so keep in mind that when we do an audio, it's something that we like to do, something we just can't often do. So there's a sit rep for Patreon members. So come on in to patreon.com/MM and crew and take a listen. There's about 14 minutes, powerful information, and you're going to get three voices in that, and it's so helpful. So, and by the way, appreciate all your guys' donations with Zelle, PayPal, and Venmo. Thank you. Once again, guys, don't forget to hit that like button if you like this content. Subscribe to the channel or join us at the Militiaman and Crew Patreon community for even more exclusive content. You can also donate to this channel by hitting the links in the banner to help keep this page up and running. Your generous support is greatly appreciated, as always. Much, much appreciated. Thank you so much and have a great day.